Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Yeah. Well, one thing that I see myself thinking and believing in God even without going to church or picking up the Bible is I kind of see it from a different point of view. You know, like animals have instincts. Birds know how to fly north or whatever without having a map, without having no direction to know where to go to. A bunch of different kind of animals know what to do. We, being humans, are more superior than these animals. So there's something inside of me that's driving me to believe in some kind of God. Believe which God you want to. There's a God out there, and there's more than this. And no matter where you go to, which nation or state or religion, there's no matter if it's Indians or whatever, there's people believing in some kind of God, because there's something inside of us that's telling us there's something more than just life, you know.
I would say that thing is usually indoctrination. I think most human beings don't have that thing inside them telling that God has to exist naturally. Somebody else puts it in there. Even if it just happens from the moment of birth, or if it takes place 20 years later, indoctrination is so powerful that in spite of all reason and logic, people will still choose what their parents told them when they were this tall.
Well, how do you explain Indians? They didn't have a Bible. They didn't have nothing like that. What made them believe in God?
Why would you not? Yeah. Why would you not come up with something like that? It's kind of an obvious answer, is that things were created.
Why come up with some spiritual, some spiritual God out there? You know, even back then, there were no religion, there were no doctrines.
I don't know. I mean, there's always been, since human beings have had any intelligence at all, there have been ignorance about the world on the part of humans.
Come to exist in their minds, you know?
It's a different name than God, first of all, but they needed to explain things to themselves, and they couldn't. They couldn't figure out why fire existed or why the same came up consistently.
Why come up with spirit? You know what I mean?
Why? Exactly. Good reason. But because they didn't know.
If you switch a few circumstances around in prehistoric times, it may have come up an entirely different story. It is just a part of our thinking and our evolving. We needed to explain what we couldn't understand, and that made for a good suggestion.
You go to the other side of the world and you see Africans believing in God, you see Japanese believing in some kind of God, but there's something inside you telling you, and you can't deny that. You can't.
Well, I can ask for evidence of it. It may come into my head.
Look at the animals. How does the birds know which way to go without even being taught?
Those are biological
evolution
and
how do the whales
genetic
know how to travel thousands of
structure.
miles?
Excuse me?
How do the whales know how to travel thousands of miles and eat without even going to school? You know, stuff like that.
Animals do things that impress us on their own through instinct and biological evolution.
There's something inside of us that we're just made that way.
One thing with people around the world, sure, they all may have religion, but then the religions contradict each other, for one thing.
Well, no, that's a different point. That's a different subject. The thing is that you have to believe. There's something inside of us.
Well, you don't. You don't have to believe. You can go out and find things out for yourself and know.
No, but I'm trying to say there's something inside of us telling us there's a way up. There's more than this, than just being
If it's a voice, there's a name for it. But you know, you need help if you're hearing voices. Look, I think the main thing is that you can go out and find out the truth and the facts about the universe yourself without having to make preconceived judgments about it.
Sure.
The same people do have the what they call hallucinations. You hear a voice, it's not really there, but you heard it. You can swear you heard it.
Yeah. And, not me. Not me.
And the individual testimony is generally considered to be pretty weak. In average human beings, individual testimony.
Don't you feel you're more superior than animals?
No. No. You're just another life form on this planet. You have no superiority to anything.
How could we live without other
insignificant part of the universe.
We have superior intellects.
Yeah, we have a higher development.
As far as our rightful place on this earth, no.
There's something that's got to be telling you there's more to life than this.
It's very bad for the environment to believe you're above everything.
There's something that tells me that there's more to this life, and it's called science. It tells me there's a whole great big universe out there.
We are science ourselves. I could be a scientist. I could study this, study that, you know.
Right.
Well, science isn't a
You can't separate science from me, because we're all...
Whether you believe that the science has the right answers or not, you have to admit that it delivers the goods.
Very good.
When 200 years ago, bad sanitation cause cholera outbreaks, and you can pray over a cholera victim, or you can give her 500 milligrams of tetracycline every 12 hours.
I think what you've done, you made scientists your God. That's what you've done.
No. That would see.
Science exists. Therefore it's not a God.
I understand the point you're trying to make there is we've substituted one God for another, and this is not true. It's not. We're looking for answers just like everyone. We don't have all the answers, and we're never going to have all the answers.
How do you explain like me, myself, my body? It's a very complicated system.
I can't personally explain it. You need a molecular biologist to do some of that
stuff. Even a biologist can create a person like me or you. You know.
Well, I don't know about creating a person, but we can we can replicate or synthesize the occurrence of the development of life in a laboratory.
They can only manipulate. They can't create nothing. They just manipulate.
We're working on it.
Well,
or they're working on it, I should say.
We're almost there.
You get pieces of a human and you do all this in DNA and all that. That's just manipulation. That's all it is.
Well, it's
that's
inevitable.
Part of learning.
Yeah, I think it's inevitable too, because that's what they called sailing around the world when they first tried it.
Right.
You're manipulating God's world. Don't try that.
Galileo was put in jail for his beliefs.
And Giordano Bruno was persecuted by the church for coming up with what we now know is the truth.
I'm not against manipulating stuff because it's for medicine, you know, medicine reasons. I think, you know, somehow we're all like, okay, let me bring up a little bit of religion. God said he's going to make people like him. Okay, God is a scientist, so we're all one of
God is a scientist? Okay.
That's a new one. I hadn't heard that before.
That's pretty tough. Hey, we got other calls, and thanks a lot for calling. Call us back next week.